So, Soumya, have you stopped talking or you are still going on? Why I'm saying this here, I say your words are still reverberating here. Like so deep, so
Sir,
deep.
could you put your laptop down, please?
No, your words were so deep. This took me to a different level altogether. And I and viewers, you might be surprised, but I am not. You must be surprised to see a boy of this age, at this age, is seeing things of such deep level. Okay, so we take pride in preparing our boys like this, and that's why we say that we create world leaders, men out of a boy. Yeah, wonderfully said, Soumya, and this makes me greedy in the sense I would love to have more and more sessions with you. At one go, it may not be possible to continue for a prolonged period because we are in two different countries right now, and this technology is a problem sometimes. Fine, but today it is working fine. I think time is with us. Time is with us.
It's a cooperation and collaboration with us.
Yeah. So three of us are together. You, Soumya, me, and time. So it's a holy trinity, right? Yeah. Soumya, about this chart, would you like to give your insight about the different regions?
What this chart represents is what an individual should aspire to be, particularly in the situation you are in. So during the virus has hit the world, everybody's at home, so you're sort of literally put into a home, like that circle of who do I want to be during COVID-19. That's what sort of when you are put into a home and you're told that, okay, that's it, no coming out, you are into that box. Now physically you can't get out of home, of course, but your mind, your brain, it doesn't have limitations. There's no limit to which your mind can aspire, think, or whatever. So basically that chart is suggesting us that we should rather, so it's fine if we are at home, it's okay, and it's actually a good thing to aspire for the stages which are represented ahead. So for example, fear zone. So hoarding a lot of food and forwarding WhatsApp messages and all of that. I would say that it is a very easy thing to do. It doesn't have any cognitive load, but as you try and move forward into that chart, outwards, exploring sort of more layers of your mind, you would start learning things. I mean, for example, and I think these levels and stages in the chart, they are quite interdependent in the sense that, for example, okay, so let's say because you are at home, you're really bored, and that sense of monotony really gets hold of you and sort of makes you angry. And then, so that's, let's say that's the fear zone, that that you because you're, so anger is a source, is anger in a lot of ways indicates fear, because otherwise you wouldn't need to get angry. Then you move into learning zone, which is, well, why did I get angry? What was that weak point in my mind? What triggered me? So you start identifying your emotions, like, okay, you sort of reflect. It's like, what led you to being angry? Because when you shout and when you're angry, that's a source of weakness. That's, I mean, it's evolutionarily, that makes sense. It's common sense. And okay, then you learn, then you sort of reflect and learn, okay, what triggered me? And then ultimately you move into the growth zone, where you say that, okay, now that, okay, I got the sort of complete package, the complete experience of getting triggered due to something. I reflected on what triggered me, and now how can I fix that? How can I try and solve that problem in a way that moves me forward, and sort of gives me a more progressive and advanced view of the world. And I think the growth zone, as it says, it's, actually I can't describe how deep that chart is, because it's really difficult to put in words, because language is a big handicap to really describing anything, especially when it comes to emotions, or belief systems. So we are really talking about a particular belief system here, and the advancement of that belief system. So then you get into growth zone, where you're taking everything into the context, you're reflecting, and then you're trying to not rectify, but make an advancement to your belief system in a way that will move you forward and advance you in the world. And finally is the enlightenment, of course. That's quite a stage, and that's why I can see how it encircles everything, because it's really the ultimate goal. I mean, we actually, off the record, we talked about how perfection is asymptotic, in the way that you would always try and reach perfection. Nobody can really be perfect. I mean, if you were perfect, then you'd be called God. That's really the idea of it, I think. So yeah, I think you should sort of move yourself, try and sort of oscillate as much as possible in the growth zone, and interact with as many elements of it as you can. Obviously, I took sort of one line of emotions and fear. What you can also do is identify many, most of these sort of lines of thought, and try and improve yourself. And I think I'd like to make one last point here. I think that most of these lines, they represent a line of the way you approach life. So any individual has a set of inspirations, aspirations, somewhere they want to be, vision, something like that. And the way to approach that particular goal you have set for yourself is via your belief systems. You believe in certain values, and you believe what you believe on. So if you do something, you'll get something, that kind of a belief system. And all these values, if you inculcate and interact with them as much as possible, I think it will really get you where you are. And COVID-19, let this crisis be an opportunity, not a crisis to at least your mind, an opportunity to grow.